Namaste friends. The Government of India on May 12th decided to allow the movement of special trains to carry the standard citizens across the country, bringing a huge relief to them. But there are some questions that rise now. Are we safe enough while traveling in trains right now? Are we taking the necessary precautions while traveling? In this video, let me try answering the most important question that we should all ask ourselves before booking a train ticket. How to travel safely in trains during the COVID-19 era. According to the World Health Organization, COVID-19 mainly spreads through the droplets of saliva or the discharge from the nose when an infected person coughs or sneezes. So friends, that means that the droplets should not reach our mouth, nose, eyes and our hands. For that, we need to use the necessary personal protective equipments, that is the PPEs. So let me introduce to you the necessary PPEs that I have used during my recent train journey from New Delhi to Ernakulam Junction. Since I travelled in an air-conditioned compartment, I didn't want to take any chances of the virus entering my nose. So for that reason, I bought an N95 mask. As the name suggests, the mask blocks 95% of the airborne particles that is present. Most of us has an habit of scratching our faces, especially our eyes. So for that reason, I thought the use of goggles will come handy here, so that I restrain myself from scratching my eyes. So if I use my goggles, I get a sense of alertness whenever my hands goes to my face. Dear friends, it is so important that you keep your hands very safe while traveling. In my case, I wore gloves because it gave me a sense of security and awareness that I should not touch my face while traveling. Even if you are not wearing gloves or wearing gloves, it all depends upon how frequently and how safely you keep your hands sanitized, because while traveling it is so important that you keep your hands safe. While traveling in the train, I must say this, that maintaining a safe distance of 6 feet was very difficult to achieve because of the congestion and also because of the train being fully reserved. If you're using a mask, gloves or goggles, it doesn't guarantee that you are completely safe from the coronavirus. It all depends upon how safely, how properly you use the PPEs. It is not practically possible to sit inside the train continuously for a long period of time. Definitely, you may need to use the washrooms. So for that, let's see the precautions that we can take here in this situation. The main reason I would like to concentrate on the use of door handles and the doors is because many people, either with gloves or with bare hands, touch the door handles frequently. So that itself is resulting in a contamination because we don't know whether a COVID-19 positive person is touching the door handles. Let me share the precautions that I took and how I dealt with this situation. For this purpose, the usage of gloves and a disinfectant spray came handy here. Let's see how I dealt with the situation here. First of all, take the spray and spray it on the door handles gently. Make sure that while spraying, the co-passengers sitting nearby are not getting affected by the spray. After that, gently open the door. I also did the same process before entering the washroom also. Just spray it on the washroom door handles and then get inside. That means that we need to make our hands safe before touching the door. Even though I was wearing gloves, I didn't want to take any chances. Inside the washroom, also I made sure that I sprayed in the lock before locking the door. Now let's talk about handling the wash space. In our trains, we mainly have Jason taps in our wash spaces, in which water mainly comes when we drag the tap upwards. So that means your hands are getting in contact with another surface. Just make sure that you spray on the tap as well before using it. And now to get inside the compartment again, make sure you use your elbow or your back to push the door and get inside. Don't use your hands. Don't touch anywhere, just get seated directly and start removing your gloves by taking the necessary precautions. While removing the gloves, make sure that you don't touch your bare skin and gently remove it by holding the outer layer of your gloves. Now place the used gloves in a separate waste disposal cover. After that, neatly wrap the cover and store it in a secure place. Next step, sanitize your hands. For that, take your alcohol-based sanitizer and apply it to your hands thoroughly, covering all parts of your hands gently. Do it as much as time you take until you feel that your hands are safe and you're satisfied. I'm sure that you all would have mastered the art of sanitizing your hands by now, but it's just a reminder. Friends, I've seen people who were reluctant to eat food while traveling fearing the possibility that the hands will get contacted with the mouth. There's nothing to be scared of if you follow the precautions. In my case, I took biscuits, energy bars, Tetra Pak fruit juices, also some amount of cooked food with me. Also, if you're eating any cooked food, say lemon rice, just make sure that you eat it with a spoon and make sure that you don't go outside to wash the spoon. Just wipe it with a tissue paper and keep it with yourself. I would like to recommend you that eat any food which is contactless with your hands and mouth. Now just don't stay hungry, eat your food, but take precautions. After the food, just sanitize your hand thoroughly again. Now after sanitizing your hands, put in the new pair of gloves by taking the necessary precautions. As I mentioned before, while using gloves, just make sure that you don't touch your bare skin while putting the gloves inside or removing the gloves. Also make sure that the gloves is tight and fit. It is also important to make sure that the things that we use frequently are also out of contamination. Yes, I'm talking about the main thing that we all depend upon most of the time, our mobile phones. And we should also sanitize our phones. For this, take a tissue paper and put some amount of sanitizer in it. And after that, gently swipe in and around the phone, back and front and both the sides. Also, be careful not to put the sanitizer inside the charging point while swiping. Finally, after that, sanitize your hands again. Also, don't forget to sanitize your other things that you are in frequently contact with. I've also something regarding sitting inside the trains. I would recommend to use this kind of posture by not getting in contact with anywhere. If you're not wearing your gloves and whenever you go outside or if you're seated, just make sure that your hands doesn't come in contact with your face. Be careful while doing that. And I'm stressing this again. If you're wearing gloves, that doesn't mean that you're completely safe. If you touch your face with your gloves or if you touch your face with your bare hands, same result. So it's most important that you keep your hands away from your face while traveling. Friends, there is something important I would like to talk about. Waste disposal. I'm sure that anyone who takes a train journey would witness someone throwing away waste in the railway tracks. That is something which should change. Now onwards, whenever you're traveling, especially during this Covid-19 times, make sure that you don't dump your waste in the railway tracks. Make sure you take your used gloves and other PPEs to your home and burn it. And other plastic waste like your juice packets, biscuit packs, dump it in the dustbin. Let's not make our country dirty anymore. So friends, these are the main precautions that I took during my train journey. By addressing this, I would also like to highlight the issue faced by our laborers in our country right now. They're facing true suffering. Some are not even getting food. People die on roads while walking back home. Also, we witnessed a heartbreaking moment recently of an infant trying to wake her dead mother in a railway station. There are many other painful incidents like this happening in our country due to travel difficulties. So friends, we are so privileged enough to afford a train ticket and travel like this. We are so lucky. But please don't misuse the journey. Don't take it lightly by not taking precautions. Our government, our medical workers, our police officers are working day and night to make sure that we are safe, we reach our home safe, to make sure that this disease doesn't get transmitted to all of us. Coronavirus likes to be there in the place where more people are around. It's important for you to be safe first and make sure that your co-passengers are also safe in the way that you are. And it is also a sad reality that many persons in the trains were not using their mask all the time. They were just not protecting their hands all the time. They were just considering or pretending this train journey as a journey that we used to take before the COVID-19 times. Extraordinary situation requires extraordinary precautions to be taken. So if you find anyone who is not following any precautions, just kindly advise them and make sure that they're following the precautions. Because in a train journey, it's a collective responsibility. Our safety mainly depends upon how our co-passengers are safe. So make sure that your co-passengers are also following the same precautions that you take while you're traveling. Please do understand that don't fear the disease, don't panic, just take the precautions. Don't just let yourself into the disease. Fight the disease by taking precautions. Accept the seriousness and don't take it lightly. Be mentally prepared to face all consequences and always prepare for the worst. If you're doing this properly, believe me, you are contributing to our society and our nation very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much for watching.